good morning, y'all. Jesus is still Lord, and the Word still works. You know, we started studying a couple of days ago now, the 17th chapter of the Gospel of Luke, where the disciples said, Lord, give us more faith. And he did not. He answered them and said, if you had faith as a grain of mustard seed, you would just simply say to this tree, be thou plucked up by the roots and be planted in the sea, and I believe it was your faith, would obey you. Now, I want to go somewhere a little different on that today. Jesus said that if you have faith, then you need to exercise your faith. And of course, you exercise your faith by saying. So I'm going to call this today faith projects. I have faith, you have faith, God has dealt to every man the measure of faith. Faith comes by hearing, hearing by the Word of God. So the more you read the Word, study the Word, and hear the Word, the more faith that you have. You got all that you need. You don't have to have any more. You got all that you need. But you do have to exercise what you have in order for it to grow. Now watch this. Before you go out and buy it, give God an opportunity to provide it. Believe God for it. I call this faith projects. And so I got to go back 35 years ago, I guess, when all three of our sons were still boys at home. I had a drawer that had my socks in it, you know, some white socks and some black socks. And so because it was daddy's, when they needed a pair of socks to go out on a date, they'd just go in my drawer and get a pair of black socks because they wore them white tube socks. And so they just got them. Well, after, you know, a few years of all three of them just borrowing my socks, we got 4 people wearing socks. Man, I ran out of socks. Now, I had plenty of money. I always have plenty of money, but I could have gone and bought some socks, but I was teaching on this subject then, and I thought, I'm going to believe God for some socks, a faith project. I'm not going to buy them. I'm not going to tell anybody about it. I didn't write an appeal letter. I didn't call nobody. I didn't talk to my mom and daddy or my mother-in-law or nobody else. I talked to my God. I talked to Jesus and said, Lord, I got to have some socks. Faith project. I spoke to that drawer. I said, drawer, you're full of socks. Well, a few weeks later, and I don't remember exactly how, somebody gave me either 6 or 8 pair of the finest cashmere socks that I have ever owned in my life. Just said the Lord told me to buy these. And the next weekend, after I was rejoicing over those, there was a lady came up to me in the church, and she said, now, Pastor Frank, I know you don't need these, but I was at a trade day yesterday, and I believe the Lord told me to buy this for you. And she gave me one of those big old huge grocery sacks. That's back in the days, you know, before the plastic. But it was a grocery sack plumb full of white socks that she had bought for just, you know, pennies on the dollar. And she said, I just believe the Lord wanted me to give this to you. And it's strange. No, it's not strange because I believed for it. We're going to talk about faith projects. We're going to talk about after you've sown the seed, believe for your harvest. Do a faith project. Reach out there in faith. Let God bless you. And the Bible does say this. It says that when the desire cometh, it's a tree of life. Let God do something special for you today because He loves you. Hey, I got to go. Have a great day. Until I'm with you tomorrow, remember, Jesus is Lord and the Word works.